Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm your host, James Boyd, and with me I have the regular, the usual, the tried, the trusty, the true, Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Money be green.
Are you thinking of Baltimore now because of what we just saw with the buddy looking with the? Okay, so full disclosure to people that have no idea what the fuck we're talking about, because I've heard a few of y'all don't know what the fuck we be talking about a lot of times, but we just saw a TikTok video of some dude with what can only be described as a, what they call it, a male prosthesis. It's a prosthesis. Yeah. It's a system. It's very similar to the system you see someone like LeBron James wear when it's time to sell cars or Gatorade or whatever, or Powerade or whatever else, Sprites. So all of a sudden, this man,
the real best comeback he's ever made in his career.
You forget the 3-1. Yeah. So, it's basically a nice term for a black person wearing a wig, but instead of a typical wig like a toupee, like a lot of y'all are accustomed to, it's more or less just for a hot top fade situation, or even sometimes a full Caesar. Yes. So Buddy has the full Caesar. I can't see a bit of his scalp, but it is platinum and it is glittery. He looks like if Cisco was a member of Stars and Stardom. That's what he looks like.
He looked like if Cisco got like a 1 haircut, but it was still all platinum.
Yeah. He looked like this is the platinum that we were expecting to see on the eyebrows of the woman that Barrett the Man was talking about in the number one stunner. So correct. So we saw that, and I guess that took you to Baltimore and The Wire and Money Be Green, or no, is that just me? Just put it all together.
That was you, but I watched season 1 of The Wire this weekend.
Really?
I'm rewatching The Wire, and I got Catherine to watch it with me. So Catherine is now going to become a Wire person, I imagine, because everyone that watches The Wire does become a Wire person.
Pretty much, yeah.
Season 1, it was interesting just watching the thing, and I read about The Wire all the time, and pretty much like scan all the wiki pages for like as much kind of back. So I kind of treat it like Rocky in a sense, like all the stuff I'm looking for is side stuff. And there's a part there's like these little like ground that are being laid in season 1 that when the first time you watch it, you have no idea is happening, and it's like they're already setting up who's replacing who in the hierarchy. Like they had Daniel sitting Carver down, essentially telling him what type of cop you want to be, and then he eventually becomes a new Daniels. It's like there's just like so much that's like there's just all the ground being laid, and it's just an excellent show, and can't wait to watch the rest.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched The Wire. I watched it at one one time through back in, well, I don't even remember what year that was, but maybe like 2010, 2008, whatever the hell it was. But I haven't gone back. I probably should. Like, there's a bunch of other shows that aren't nearly as good that I've gone back. You know how many times I've rewatched Friends? Rewatched Friends probably like 5 times.
You couldn't get me to watch Friends, but
and that's just my personal taste of like, look at this wonked out, like, dyed or flat out like white version of what they think like Manhattan is. Like, it's to me, I just find it interesting to see, like, okay, and I find it comforting to watch. This is something I just put on and don't even think. It's like, just most sitcoms are like that. Like, you just put it on and don't even think about it. So
that's kind of like what I did this week when I put on all those matches from Kenta Kobashi this past week that I watched. Oh my god! We can.
You want to get into that now since we already here? All right. Yeah. Give us your rundown of Kenta Kobashi.
Kenta Kobashi is flat out one of the greatest professional wrestlers to ever live. Maybe the best. Who knows? But I watched the GHC championship reign. There was a 9-hour video, I believe. Jamie shot into our link. What up, Jamie? Into one of our group chats. And I believe I'm about 7 hours through it. And I've watched other matches, like, kind of like that weren't on that thing, like him versus Kensuke Sasaki, him versus Dr. Dusty Williams, him versus Mike Awesome, different stuff like that. And it's just like, this man is a chop master. Right. This man is a suplex machine. This man is a fighting spirit warrior. Right. This man is a power move like savant. The man is an athlete. He does flips. It's like, and he has a pain tolerance of like up there with anyone you've ever seen. And somehow, you know, like the All Japan stuff has kind of like been like the blind spot from, you know, a lot of the things, you know, that I've picked up over the past couple of years. It was like, okay, the promotion that we really watch is New Japan, but All Japan's history is kind of muddied up as far as like who owns it. Of course, then it splits off and becomes Noah. Yeah, when
Misawa left, right?
Yeah, he took a couple guys with him, Kenta Kobashi being one of them. Right. And, you know, I was learning about the 4 pillars. What up to Zach? He shot me this King's Road like documentary I watched. It's like a video essay series. There are 8 episodes in. I liked the first episode so much. I watched all 8 in a row. It was just like, yo, there's been so much great wrestling here for so long that's just kind of like tucked away. And if you don't go looking for it, like, you know, you might not find it. So shouts out to all the creators that are like shepherding this history that's out there. And I would definitely, if you've never watched Kenta Kobashi, I would probably recommend you watch his match when he won the GHC Triple Crown title from Misawa in March 2003. That's pretty much the famous match, but you can just keep watching him from there. He's like a legend. And I did all these like little funny videos where I was translating for him. Like he was a bad motherfucker. Huh? Yes, he was.
Translation.
Correct. Like they were showing cut promos after the matches, and basically I would talk shit on behalf of Kenta Kobashi. So huge Kenta Kobashi fan. And of course he's in the Japanese wrestling Illuminati. He loves all the wrestlers. Like no matter who they are, like everyone from anyone you can think of, they got a picture with Kenta Kobashi somewhere on the internet.
Yes, and in that picture is guaranteed that Kenta Kobashi is smiling with a gigantic. You can see his teeth. Like I don't know how I came across that a few months ago when I realized that like this dude, every picture he's in with a wrestler, like he's just so happy. But it's like, yeah, this dude is basically like Japanese flair. I have never seen a full Kobashi match, but I have seen those tribute produce shows that he does, those Fortune Dream shows, especially from some of the like all-star Joshi matchups he has on there. Like there's one particular year that has like Meiko Satomura and Io Shirai. There's one with Meiko Satomura and Nanae Takahashi. I think that was this year's. There's Kairi and Hiroyo Matsumoto, and all those matches are like great, and most of them end up just usually going to draws, but they end up being great. And then at the end, like they're like destroyed and they're getting drugged off with their whoever cornered them, and then like but at the same time, like they before they leave, they like make sure to go to this, you know, that section that like where the ramp is, or like Kobashi is at, to like pay honor to that dude. Like there's a reason why, like, and you know, like I don't think you know this, but like Kairi, like there's some type of story about like Kairi got into wrestling because of Kobashi, and that's her hero. So it's like, And then you watch like for me, like you watch like a Samoa Joe highlight reel, like his match with Samoa Joe on a highlight clip, and you see the match like, oh, I can see that. And then you see him like, or a clip of him like chopping the shit out of somebody, chopping somebody to the floor. Like, oh yeah, I can see why someone would find inspiration out of that person. He's a fucking maniac.
So, like when a couple months ago, when Dragon Lee and Hiromu Takahashi opened their match with like that 5-minute chop sequence, that was like the baby version of what Kensuke Sasaki and him did in 2005 in the Dome. A lot of matches in the Dome. So Kobashi also all-time great Dome performer. And I recommend you guys check out his cage match joint. He has like 23 5-star matches, I believe. A lot of them are tags, but a lot of them are singles too. He's got just I'm rich archive.
A lot of those tags are like tags during that like 90s All Japan, or like it's Kawada, it's Misawa, like I'm assuming, because there's a shit ton of like 5-star level tag match from the 90s or whatever else that I've heard about. I've never seen any of them, but like the All Japan I've seen is like some of the Misawa stuff. I've never seen anything else though.
Yeah, like the best way like that for those of you guys that haven't seen him, I can describe him as like a taller, more animated, heavier version. Like obviously he's like what
his body's also shaped weird, like in a way that's like almost like Brock Lesnar-ish, but not all the way there.
Right. It's like, imagine if Ishii was like 6'3" and 250, but like he had a much more kind of animated demeanor, and he did more in the terms of power moves. Like that's what I can probably say. What I would probably put Kenta Kobashi. He has a flair for the dramatic, kind of like any other great wrestlers you've seen. He had the big clothesline, so like that kind of like seeing how he had we knew the legendary Okada title reign. Of course, he's putting people away with the Rainmaker. He was hitting people with the Burning Hammer, which is essentially that huge clothesline, or excuse me, the Burning Lariat, not the Burning Hammer.
The Burning Hammer was like, I think, was it when he brought that? That's like the super finisher, right?
Super finish, yeah. He had to beat Akiyama with that as well as Misawa. So he only used it 8 times in his career. So, but yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, and that helped pass my week last week.
So you have anybody you have in mind for next week that you're gonna go through and look through?
I'm glad you mentioned that. So I came across something else I wanted to check out. Of course, I saw a Manami Toyota playlist that I'm like, well, I'm gonna be working at home anyway. I got this big ass TV right next to my desk, so I'll just throw that on there while I'm working, and kind of how I did all these Kobashi matches. So looking forward to checking out Manami Toyota. So
I can just give you a heads up right now, because I saw the list. I saw some of the list. I didn't read all of it, but the matches that I know that I've seen, the 07 match with Meiko Satomura, they beat the shit out of each other. And the Tokyo Dome match with Aja Kong, like that is, I think that's the best match I've seen in 1994 ever. So there's that. Like you think of like what happened in 1994, like that's saying something. So yeah, there's that too. I saw parts of the hair match. The ending of the hair match is like incredible, especially the post match. But yeah, like you'll have a blast watching her too, because she's a psychopath. She doesn't care. I saw. I mean, you've seen all like some of the, if you go on YouTube and type in top moves of Manami Toyota, you can just be like, wow, this for 20 minutes, be like, wow, she's crazy, she's incredible. But she also did this thing besides just like stuff like missile drop kicks off the top rope to the floor, or no hand springboard moves. Like she did this one move I saw where it's like almost like a Spanish fly, but like basically like her and her opponent are both on the top rope, and the person on the top rope is about to it looks like she's about to body slam her into the ring, and she turns it into a like Michinoku driver / like a Spanish fly Michinoku driver. That's the best way I can explain it.
What the hell?
You have to I have to find it and send it to you. You'd be like, who the fuck would think of doing this without? And who would like think of that and say no because someone's gonna die?
Is it kind of like the deal like where someone like will like spin around and kind of go into like a victory roll?
Yeah, like imagine somebody's going for a body slam. And the body slam gets turned into a roll up. Except it's going off of the top rope onto the floor. Not the floor, but the mat.
The ring. The ring, yeah.
Right. And it's like, who gave you authorization? and why would the person that you suggested this to be like, okay, it'll work out, instead of be like, yeah, someone's gonna probably land on their neck and die a miserable death. But whatever. But yeah, she's a great, and I'm probably gonna go through some of that too as well. I think the person if I was gonna do a deep dive on from the All Japan women's side that like I hear a lot of hype about, but I never really got it, would probably be Akira Hokuto. And like, I know most people that are like, okay, most people that have watched the All Japan stuff that like that don't like Manami Toyota getting like the praise she gets from, let's say, the Meltzer marks or whatever, if you will. Like the first person to bring it be like, what about Akira Hokuto? And I'm like,
what about her?
I'm like, no, she's great as well, but like I feel like I have to watch more. That's the best way I can explain it. Like I saw like the first half of her match with Manami Toyota, and I'm just like, unless this gets like dramatically better in like the second half of this match, like I don't see what the hype is about. But you know, that's one damn match, right? But anyway, modern wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Empty arena wrestling.
Yeah. No people gates everywhere.
Vince McMahon's no people gate coming up soon. The big no people gate.
Yeah. WrestleMania 36 took a major hit this week. Come to find out that shows were recorded this week. The whole show. I'm sure there may be results out somewhere, but for the most part, the only thing I really heard is and I'm not looking for results, so don't send them my way. But for the most part, major thing comes out is that Roman Reigns decided to pull himself from out of WrestleMania due to concerns for the fact that this is a recovering cancer survivor, two-time cancer survivor, and the fact that like he has a weak immune system and there's a pandemic going on, and oh my god, you idiots, why didn't you think of this, literally a month ago and pull him from this, once we were headed towards this, or weeks ago when we realized that we're headed towards this situation. Right. So it makes for people that, I mean, obviously I don't think they should be concerned about this, but the people that find any reason to dislike Roman Reigns, you have it by saying he's some type of coward or whatever else. Like, and I would say this, if you're the kind of person that want to come out here and talk about a two-time cancer survivor is a coward, let's not talk. Like, how about you just press pause or stop on the podcast and just leave from here, because I think you're a fucking moron, and I don't want you to hear what I have to say, and that damn sure don't want to hear what you have to say. But there's also there's that. And then there's also the part where it's like, so Roman Reigns has to be the adult in the room, in a room full of all the adults. He has to be the most adultest adult and say, hey, this is stupid. My health comes before this. I have told y'all yes a million times when I should have told y'all no, and y'all have affected my career adversely in the negative direction. So this time I'm saying no to you off once. And WWE didn't even come out and say, oh yeah, this dude is making sense, we are out here on this bullshit, and didn't even say, like, try to spin it in a PR way to try to say that actually, after all this time, we now looked up one day and decided to pull this guy. No, the story is Roman said no, and they just like, well, we are asking you to do something fucking stupid, so that's the dilemma they're in. So, Rich, what are your thoughts on this?
Boy, they are continuing to false advertise him as if he has not pulled himself.
That's true.
That also, my internet had disconnected, so I missed the first part of your point. But it's I didn't think the Goldberg and Reigns match had like much really in way of intrigue. Obviously, he has a major health issue that the company is asking him to look the other way from. Right. He's not the only person with a compromised immune system on the roster. I believe Daniel Bryan has something like that too, but I believe he did wrestle. it sucks for Roman Reigns. It was always going to suck either way because it would have been like, all right, if you do wrestle, it's like a 0 fan show. There's going to be nothing you can really do about it. Goldberg's in there with you. It's like, yeah. I applaud him for being like, you know what, man, it's bigger than this belt. It's bigger than this company. This is about me. Like, right. And you know, as you said, like Roman should have told him no for a lot of stuff in his career. It's funny that he hit them with that doesn't work for me, brother, on this one. And it's amazing. I wonder who is going to win. You know, I don't know if that's taboo to bring that up or anything. Was Goldberg going to win? You know, or was Roman going to win? Who knows? I'm just throwing it out there, but as long as this dude can like have the opportunity to try to protect himself and be healthy like everyone else, then he should do it because he's at a higher risk than mostly everyone else on there. And it's really it's shining a light on how long this empty arena thing is going to continue overall in wrestling right now. So it was big of Reigns to do that because like the first person that, you know, tests positive somewhere and it's public in wrestling, it's going to be like, there's a lot of pressure on you probably to be quiet about it. And then in Reigns' position, is like, all right, I'm probably gonna get the belt back more than likely. I'm gonna be back on top and all that. And he says, fuck all that. I'm just, you know, I have a daughter and I have a wife, and you know, I have a lot bigger responsibility to them. That it's kind of commendable, like, and honorable that he would think to do that, especially when, you know, Vince is like trying to hand it to you once again, essentially, and be like, become our guy or whatever, you know. And he's like, you know, there's something bigger going on, and maybe it's an institutional thing with WWE where it's like Vince will stop at nothing to you know, do, you know, whatever he has to do to. I don't know why he wants to keep doing the shows. What do you think?
I don't know. Like, I'm assuming the only thing I can understand is it'd be like, okay, well, you get the money based off of doing a live show or live shows between SmackDown, NXT, and Raw. And like, that's cool or whatever else, but it's like, you're endangering so many people's health by having them get together to do this shit. And then like, just by going to one of those shows, like, you don't know who's been to where in Orlando and came back. You don't know who's flown in and flown back with whatever the fuck. And like, just honestly, like, between any of these shows we cover, Stardom, NXT, AEW, whatever, they should not be running right now. Like, for the benefit of everybody's health, me and you should be coming out here talking for like an hour and a half about absolutely fucking nothing. You'd be like, yeah, what you do this week? What you do this week? That's what we should be doing for like an hour and a half, or do some type of, you know, project as far as rewatching some this, that, and their third or whatever else, and doing some type of tournament or whatever else, like, just and talk about it as opposed to actually covering real live wrestling going on right now on TV. Like, yeah. But they're putting it out there, so we're doing it. So, you know, I just think that, you know, they recorded the show.
And I think this.
So they recorded WrestleMania. They have it in the can. Who knows how much longer they go after this? I can't imagine it going much longer after this. I just can't. But, you know, we'll see.
I know they got the Raw after WrestleMania in the can, but it feels like this week with AEW included and NXT, it was like the restrictions have tightened up so much. So we raved about the creativity that AEW is able to kind of respond with in the face of like an empty arena where they kind of laid out the fucking blueprint, right? Mm-hmm. Then this week they were down to even more dire straits, like as far as like personnel, and it's just like it's so thin and so skeleton like, and like it's like this is the week where it was like, well, I think they maximized whatever that first week that they could do with this format, and it's like it's only going to feel more like not a chore, but it's going to feel like, oh my God, why are they still doing this? Like, and they don't have to be. And the shows are probably going to become progressively more vanilla as to not, you know, waste whatever you're going to waste. Like, and, you know, this format isn't really conducive. So, it just feels like we've reached that point that, yo, shut it down, like the NBA, like the MLB, like the March Madness, shut it down and find another way to, entertain us. And then, for fans, like, I think you got to like allow these companies a little bit of leeway and a little bit of rope. Like, I don't think I'm really seeing too many people banging the drum like, yes, like keep doing these shows, keep entertaining me and stuff like that. But just to say it, like, I think people need. Well,
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, this isn't about pro wrestling, but you also got like all time Duke Blue Devil Jay Williams on ESPN talking about you need to go out here. You need to go out here and entertain us for the sake of our sanity as an American people. And I'm just like, Jay. And like Jay's like one of the very few Duke people like I do not like hate. So it's like I can't rock with you on this one, bro. I can't rock with you on this one, Jay.
You want to keep it a buck with Jay Williams? Like, ever since he cracked his melon, you don't never know what he about to say. Like, so I don't know, bro. I heard that thing you heard, and I was like, bro. I'm like, are you that scared? Like, ESPN ain't gonna have nothing for you to talk about? Just recycle your LeBron and Jordan debate like y'all do like every fucking 6 weeks or whatever. Like, figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just taking from that to go to what we're dealing with as far as like potential fans that are like, you need to entertain me at the level you were before, and it's like that's not really that possible right now, Chief, so you might want to chill out. And I mean, I don't really see that much of that, but there is some of that out there, and I don't know how much of that is like people that I actually want to talk to, or how much of that is just like the fringe nonsense crazy people that like I never want to talk to.
Right, and one example of it, I was watching like Kenny Omega and Sammy Guevara. I was like anticipating the day that these two have a match and all that. Right. They had a good match, like it was like absolutely. 3.75, 3.5. Yep. But like you saw like how long it felt, and then knowing what would have been there for them crowd wise, and it was just like maybe they left like 4.5 stars on the table or something. Like if they would have had the crowd and the adrenaline, the energy. Like,
yeah, they also had a layout that was conducive to them having the best match they could. They went out there and said, I mean, some of that is like, Sammy has holes in his game regardless of how promising he looks. And like, he's going to have to learn how to wrestle on the ground and work a hold. And this was a match where he did that through 2 commercial breaks. Was it a match that I would want to see on national television? No, but they still had a good match, so who cares? Ultimately.
Yeah, so like, so when I was saying that, and I still enjoyed the match, but I'm like, yo, there's just so much missing here, and I think it really showed in the Cody match because Cody's so dependent on that reaction that he gets, and playing to the audience and everything like that, and that just made it stick out like a sore thumb.
So are you saying that when Cody's matches are like, if he press mute on it, like he seems like a goofball?
James Boyd said that. I did not. I will reserve my hating for pay-per-views.
God damn it. I forgot Floyd listened to this. Damn it. Why is it this every single week it's Cody and it's Floyd and it's all I'm about to hear about this. No, but at least okay, so here's the thing. Cody is a fine wrestler, but in this particular instance where there's no crowd like for him to work, I would suggest that he like wrestles like how he wrestles Darby. Or when he wrestles with Darby, just go out there and just have a match. Like when whose ass did he kick before right before Revolution?
Kip Sabian?
Yeah, like just go out there and wrestle like he's Kip Sabian. Wrestle people like they're Kip Sabian. Like I thought the match with Jimmy Havoc was fine. I didn't think it was bad at all, but it was just kind of there. I mean, maybe that's because like I'm not that familiar with Jimmy Havoc to know what he does besides like what the Jimmy Havoc and the Mask brings to the table. But like, I didn't think he was out here. I didn't think Jimmy Havoc was out here really doing Bret Hart's professional wrestling. I did not know that, but apparently he does.
Yeah, he's got a whole nother style in addition to his deathmatch game. So, yeah, man, it's I don't know. Like, what would you see? What NXT have going on this week?
NXT, they had 2 good matches. One I would say still great. Like they actually had Riddle and Roddy I think with like 10, 12 minutes or whatever else, but it's basically like a pocket version of that NXT TakeOver 25 match they had. It's just like they basically start both matches like trading on the floor, and then they get up and then they just start throwing strikes and just beating the shit out of each other, and like Roddy's trying to work over his back to a little bit, and it was awesome, and it was paced well, like they normally like. It was like another one of the matches you expect them to have because it's those two. I'm jumping around a bit, but that was like the last match on the card on that show. The opener, if I remember correctly, I can't remember the opener off the top of my head right now. But there was also a Tony Nese and Cameron Grimes match that was good. They were still doing qualifying stuff for the women's number one contendership ladder match for what was going to be on TakeOver. So they were set up for Xia Li versus Aaliyah. Aaliyah shows up. They show the nose injury from a few months ago where they did the fake nose thing, and then like all of a sudden you see Aaliyah and you see like her lips are bigger. You're just like, oh, okay. Why do you just say it like she? Whatever. I guess you can't say someone had get their lips got broken, so you just say a nose. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But so they show Aaliyah. Aaliyah comes out first, then Xia Li's music plays, and he's like, "What's going on? Where's Xia Li? Where's Xia Li?" So then they go to the back and they show her head. Basically, she's clutching her knee in the back on some Nancy Kerrigan. Like I don't know. I don't know what like "why" in Japanese sounds like, but she may have been yelling "why" in Chinese. But all of a sudden, like they cut to the back. Or they cut from the back to the ring, and Aaliyah's like, "Well, announce me the winner," and announce me the winner, and then and then all of a sudden, the announcer says, "Well, there's been a replacement," and EO's music hits, and like the first thing you hear, the first note you hear, all of a sudden Aaliyah's face goes like, "Oh no, I'm going to die." EO comes out, beats her ass, pins her with a moonsault.
It looks like no matter, even they went to Full Sail, no matter what it is. If you're outside the ring in NXT, anywhere, if you're like in the parking lot, if you are in a hallway, it is dangerous. It is not for jokes out there. They have mass assailants. They have people running down on you in the parking lot. They have people coming up to you, attacking you, and rolling around, and you're rolling around on the ground, holding your leg. Like it's dangerous out there.
Yeah. And or you be face down like Aleister Black
correct.
was. It doesn't matter if you were a group, because all of a sudden Tommaso Ciampa will come out of nowhere and attack all three of you with a lead pipe. Yeah, man, it's just rough out there. So EO advances. During the match, they okay. So it wasn't the normal Beth Phoenix and Nigel and Morrow. It was Phillips and Saxton. So it was basically like the old SmackDown team. So they put over on commentary that like it was real. Aaliyah seemed real was playing real coy, as if like she knew that like Xia Li was fucked up, so they're putting the blame on her, and it's supposed to and get you away from the idea that if you thinking that like Io Shirai may have done this to Xia. So anyway, she's advanced. So there was a squash match with some dude with some weird name that I can't even pronounce the name, but it was some dude that got squashed by what's his name? What's his fucking name? Was in Sanity. Killian Dane. Yeah. Killian Dane got a squash, beat it with Vader bomb, didn't matter. There was also Keith Lee came out. Keith Lee went to cut a promo and explain what happened with him power bombing Dijakovic a couple weeks back. He explains it like, well, I beat Cameron Grimes. Someone hits me from behind with a nightstick. I turn around. I see Dijakovic holding my belt. I thought he was mocking me, so I pop-up power bombed him. I owe him an apology. So Dijak comes out and says, I don't want an apology. I want a title. I want another title shot. And he said literally to Rich, he said to him, you took food off of my family's table.
What a horribly written show.
So, what? It was like, wait a second. So you made the save for this dude. You made the save for whoop your ass. How do you take food off of his table? I don't. Whatever. So out comes Damian Priest.
Can these niggas get like? Can we separate these niggas, please?
I think it's the last match. So out comes Damian Priest. Damian Priest talks some shit. He says, I also want a North American title shot. That's the reason why I took a cheap, hit Keith Lee with a cheap shot. They all up into the ring. They all start brawling. Huh?
Like, Keith Lee's a dumbass now. Like, you attacked the wrong guy.
No, but he explained, like I got hit from behind. Well, he didn't see the dude. Like, okay, you're in a match. Let's pretend it's real. You're in a match. You're just defending your title. Somebody hits you with a nice stick from behind. You have no idea who does it. You turn around. You see somebody in the ring holding your belt. You pop up, powerbomb him, and then the next time you get a chance to talk, you apologize to the person you powerbomb. That's all Keith Lee did.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that apology part.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what he came out to apologize for, or to come out to talk about. So, while they're in the ring, him and Dijak, Priest comes out. Priest says, like, look, you want a title shot, but I just laid in, but you shouldn't get another title shot. I want a title shot. That's the reason why I laid into Keith Lee. He gets in the ring. Dijak starts beating on Priest while he's in the ropes. Keith Lee pushes him off because he wants a piece. Priest and Lee end up on the floor, so you know what that means. Dijak dive. Exactly. Dijak gets a dive, and then he walks off, and then it gets set like later in the show that like that's triple threat match next week for the title. That would have been on TakeOver. I'm trying to think what else. There's something.
One thing from AEW I forgot. Whatever.
No. Okay, so here we go. There's Candice LeRae and Caden Carter. Caden Carter. I keep calling her Caden Cross. Caden Carter. They have a match. It was like 3 minutes. It was good. Candice is winning with a K-Brada. So she advances into the ladder match as well. So then they announced that like all the people that lost in these qualifiers, plus Zaya, because Zaya got knocked out of it, are going to be in I think it's a 6-person match, and that's the person who gets the last slot to get into that gets into the ladder match. So right now the people that are in it are Chelsea Green advanced, Mia Yim advanced, Io advanced. I'm blanking out on the other 2 people, but whatever.
Bro, an empty arena ladder match, that is going to be like when someone's climbing up the ladder, all that's gone.
Yeah.
All them bumps for nobody. And imagine Mia Yim. Is Mia Yim in this match?
Yes, she is in it. Mia Yim beat Dakota.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So in that case, Dakota will probably win. Oh well, I don't know. She'll probably win this one, but the whole deal, like falling through the ladders, like in front of no fans, no adrenaline rush, just fucking just wear it. Like man.
And better yet, it's gonna be preachy.
It's me.
It's gonna be preachy.
Miss me. No way. Like I'd be wrestling that match like Triple H at SummerSlam '98, or excuse me, like The Rock, and not take no bump. Fuck that. One thing I forgot on AEW, the Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho. Matt Hardy made his debut. I mean, it's one of the biggest topics of the week. So, all of a sudden, Jericho came in. He called out Vanguard 1. Vanguard 1 flew out there. Vanguard 1 is a Fed, y'all. You saw how he was rolling up on Nick Jackson. And he offered the drone a spot in the inner circle. He cut a whole promo on the drone and said he hated his political beliefs and everything he stood for. I'm just like, wow. Vanguard 1, flew away. And all of a sudden, Matt Hardy appeared at the top of the arena, and then you see the camera like kind of swerve up there, and then it's like moving still, but something comes over the camera and he's gone. They go all the way to the other side of the arena. He's over there, and then he's teleporting back and forth. Apparently, it has been since come out that he was not teleporting. Vanguard One was projecting different images of Matt Hardy all over the arena. Apparently, so that's the official line on this.
Right,
so,
but the problem with that is that, like, we saw where Vanguard left from, and then we saw where the picture and the perspective is of those pictures that we're taking. That's not what they were doing. They're trying to cover for the fact that, like, people hated the teleportation thing. That's what they're doing. And I mean, whatever.
Look, I like the teleportation. I was fucking hollering when he was doing that shit.
I don't hate it. I just like, this is fucking goofy. And, like, I don't hate it as because it's like, whatever. Like, this is leading to a TV match. So it's like, whatever. But I'm just like, whatever. This ain't for me. It's fine. Like, and I left it at that. And, like, I think it's goofy. And I don't want to see those two have a match. But whatever.
Jericho basically tried, a man of Jericho's, his generosity. Of course, he offers Matt Hardy a spot in the inner circle, like he offers everyone else before he decides to whoop their ass or fight them. He always gives them the chance to get down or lay down. That's one thing you can say about Jericho.
He didn't do that with Cody, did he?
I don't think he did with Cody.
Yeah, he only did that. But he only does that with people.
Cody already had a group. Cody already had a group. So, Cody got two groups.
Wait, you calling their family a group? That's what you doing?
Yes, you see all them niggas that be rolling out there.
Oh man.
Shoot. Then Matt Hardy basically says he's like this new person named Damascus, and he's more than 3,000 years old. He basically said AEW is a paradise, and represents freedom, and he can't allow the inner circle to ruin this paradise. And he promised to delete Jericho. There are a whole bunch of like comedy stuff, like Jericho with these one-liners, like that kind of just bust you to fuck up if you hear them. And it eventually got into a fight. And
don't skip over the Elite versus Delete deal that they did.
Oh yeah, they did the Elite Delete back and forth a bunch of times. Just was funny. And then Jericho slapped him essentially, and then Hardy basically.
He's had enough of this clown shit. He slapped the shit out of this man.
Yes. He's like, yo, you're Matt Hardy. Stop fucking with me. You're not fucking 3,000 years old. And then essentially, he was like, you are a wizard. So, Sammy Guevara, I forgot what he said, like abracadabra, get your ass whooped or something like that. And then Sammy Guevara jumped.
Something like that. And then, Guevara runs behind and jumps him, and they start whooping his ass until Omega and Cody come from commentary with chairs, and the babyface beat up the Hills with a 2-3 advantage.
Yeah, and they run, and all of a sudden Matt Hardy is setting off the flames. Like, this man was like on some full, I control fire, I can teleport, I have superhuman strength. Like, this nigga, Matt Hardy, just hilarious. I just laughed the whole time. Look, if you're looking for something serious out of Matt Hardy, I don't expect it here. So, we'll see where it goes. But, this was very, very divisive, amongst, the Twitter sphere. So, I don't know. I expected the goofiness from Matt Hardy, so and it made me laugh, so I was okay with it.
Yeah, I think it would have, or I think his stuff in the future will be better when it's pre-taped or whatever, like the Hardy Compound, so they like the Ultimate Deletion stuff. I think live it didn't work that well. It didn't work as well to me as the previous stuff I've seen him doing that stuff. But we'll see in the future. It's not for me, and I'm just like flat out being like, it's not for me, so I'm not going to critique it that hard. But for me, it's just like, I've still watched it, and like I laugh at times of how goofy it is. But like the stuff that I'm really laughing at is like Jericho laughing at him.
So yeah, like the one-liner Jericho was thrown in there, like it was like, Yeah. So, besides that, they had that Sammy and Guevara match. Sammy and Kenny,
Luke Harper, Brody.
Luke Harper or Brody Lee beat the brakes off of QT Marshall. Jake Hager beat the brakes off of some dude named Chico Adams. I like that. The new kind of way he goes into the finisher. He does like a rock bottom, then puts the choke on or whatever.
Was that an F4W rib? Was that a rib on Alvarez?
Chico Adams, that's funny. Chico, yeah. It looks like there may be a TV match in the future with Hager and Moxley. I don't presume they're doing that on pay-per-view.
I hope not. Because that's no, I'm not putting it for that. That's not what I asked for. Jake Hager in a fucking title match on pay-per-view? No, sir. No, absolutely not.
I would assume that's a TV match, but Darby Allin got a win, debuted a new move. It's called the Last Supper now. So something like I forgot what the old school name was for it, but it was a real thin show. Like a real thin feeling show, real vanilla, I felt like. So hopefully they can find a way around. I don't think they need to do the cutting to the back. The people in the picture with the yelling and betting on the match, and it's way too much. And I know they're trying to add something else to the wrestling, but it's man.
Okay, so what were your thoughts on no women whatsoever?
I don't know who was available. But that doesn't stop them from doing a video package or something.
Right.
You can put a video package on the screen. So, not a fan of that. Especially last week, they had that nice Fatal 4-Way, or 2 weeks ago, they had the nice Fatal 4-Way. It would have been nice to see someone somewhere, but it comes down to I don't know who was available when to shoot what. So,
yeah, same here. It's look, man. If you can figure out how to get QT Marshall on fucking TV, then you can figure out how to get a Hikaru Shida or Statlander or Nyla Rose on TV. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for this. But it's I remember looking, I was like, okay, so they made almost half a year with no women's match. I was like, it took them that long. But whatever. So yeah, as far as NXT, the rest of it, the main thing on NXT, aside from the stuff we talked about already, was the match I remember that I forgot about. Okay, so the dude that got squashed by Killian Dane, his name was... Wait, check this out, Rich. This is this nigga's name. It's the actual nigga. Tahuti Miles.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen him on the Largo loop.
I'm sure you have.
Tahuti Miles.
Yeah.
They've got to change his name.
Tahuti Miles, I
think that's his real name.
If it is, fine, but even if it is your real name, you need to change it. How do you chant Tahuti?
Tahuti.
I know you can chant it, jackass. I mean, it sounds goofy.
Look, it don't quite slide,
Right, it does not work. Look, I don't know.
Another Miles, huh?
What that Miles? Oh,
Jordan Miles.
Oh, Jordan Miles. It's spelled different, but yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, the opener of that show was Austin Theory versus oh my god, Gorgeous.
That's right. He's in WrestleMania.
Gorgeous. What's his name? The model.
What's his name?
From Brazil, or said his residence in Brazil. Pretty boy.
Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze, that's his name. Yeah, they had a match. It was fine. It was fine. That's the best way to say it. It was the third best match on the card. But basically, they had plugged that they were going to do this celebration for Adam Cole for it being his. He broke the record for longest NXT Championship title reign, and they basically just cut to him doing a video from his phone when he's I guess at his house in his pool. And he
quarantine.
Says, I guess so. So he basically says that Velveteen, you've done nothing to deserve this title shot. So, but I know some of my undisputed homeboys want a piece. So here you go, Velveteen. Next week,
you will go
you get Bobby
one.
Fish.
Why would I want to wrestle him?
Right. So that's what he ended up doing. And then the main event was the last segment was Triple H in the ring. He goes to try to describe like I think he says like Ciampa versus Gargano is the greatest feud in NXT history, and then he goes on to like he's about to say something else, and then like Ciampa comes right out, and then Triple H is like, "Hey man, before we get anything or whatever else, like I want to let you know, like there will be no physical contact, none whatsoever." So then Ciampa says, I forgot what he says. Basically, like he brings out Johnny. Johnny's like, "I'm not getting in the ring with this fucking guy. The reason why I just had to spend a whole bunch of money on a fine I just got because this crazy fuck attacked me, and then he wanted to escape through the medical window when Johnny threw him out the window, and then he's the one that threw the weights through the mirror in that weight room in the PC. This is all his fault." So then Triple H says, "You know, you have some points, but there's also another point against you. You're the one that put your hands on the ref, right?" So like, you know, Johnny's basically being a heel or whatever else, and then says get in the ring, and then Triple H basically says, "Oh, look, I've been here. I understand this. I've been through this. I was in the same place with Shawn, and right now you guys may not see this, but you're going to see later in life that like there's more to life than just wanting to be number one. There's more to life than all this, but I understand what you're in, so I'm granting you this." And he's like,
"Oh, really, Triple H?"
Right. So look, this isn't quadruple H. I'm sorry, this isn't Triple H that all of a sudden gained 30 pounds and became quadruple H. This isn't the King of Kings. This isn't the ass kicker. This isn't the assassin. This is Uncle Paul. This is Uncle Paul. So Uncle Paul's telling
counseling his two badass nephews.
Yes, exactly. So he says, "I understand that you're at this place, and the only reason why you guys are still employed to this company is because of me, because Rico wanted both of y'all fired. He wants both of y'all out of NXT." And I'm like, oh yeah, y'all want him out of NXT. Y'all want him out of WWE. You know how bad that would be for you if they ended up in AEW. Can you imagine Gargano Omega? Good God Almighty!
Might be the end of One Nation Radio.
Why you say that?
Does you know? Oh, that's your guy, and Omega's my guy.
I would care. I just want a 7-star match, or whatever y'all call a 7-star match.
Hey, we seen one of those. So, you know, to me in 2018, you can pull it up.
Look, you know it's better than one 7-star match. Two. So anyway, but yeah, so they continue going back and forth. And like it was a really good promo. I can't remember most of it, but like it was very good segment, and it's like this has become one of the best talking segment programs, and like something that like WWE has to match with like the stuff that Jericho does.
So I got one question. Mm-hmm. So with Triple H being in this segment right here, is he gonna fully make this a meme and become the special referee?
No. Okay, so this is what happened. So, this is what happened. So Triple H says like I understand like what y'all are going through, and something like this deserves to be on the biggest stage. And then Johnny cuts him off and says, "No, you don't understand. Like this freaking guy. Like we were set to do this last year at around this time, and this guy went off and broke his neck. And the only regret I have about it is the fact that I was the one that broke his neck." And then Ciampa flashes and snaps and says, "Yes, I broke my neck. I came back and you took my fucking life from me when you screwed me out of that title shot or whatever else." And he looks at Triple H like, "I need this, whatever else." And he's like, "Look, I understand this, and like this would have been on the best stage, on the big stage, that we could have given this to you or whatever else." And then Johnny cuts him off like, "Look, man, you still don't understand. We don't need the biggest stage. We need a ring, we need a ref, and we need a camera crew. That's it." So Triple H goes, "Okay, fine. So when do you want to do it?" So then like Johnny like pauses and he's like, "Come on, man, you just said you want to do it." And he's like, "Well, this maniac just threw me off the top of that perch or whatever else 2 weeks ago." So he's like, "So how much time do you need, Johnny? How much time do you need?" And he pauses. He's like, 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. And then they have the match or whatever else. And you want to know how they got out of that after they did all that? They aired on the screen at random, seemingly at random, a Killer Cross tease. That's how they got out of that to go dark instead of just having them go face to face and cutting off. It was so fucking stupid.
You know, that feels like a bad omen. Like, oh my god, I hope he doesn't like debut in the middle of this match or something that ever happens with them.
Speaking of random shit that makes no sense, right? At the end of Riddle versus Roddy, two of the dudes that we see in the Largo Loop
that aren't good.
Right. And look, if you saw the camera angles, they cut the height of stuff that they missed in the few times they were out there beating up Riddle, you would be like, oh yeah, they definitely not good because they screwed up the simplest of stuff. They screwed up like the demolition knee drop over a bent knee thing. They screwed that up.
That can't be like the bottom of the barrel, and they got to have somebody better than these dudes. But maybe it's a look thing that they're going for.
Yeah.
But
so, but yeah, they came out. This Stokely came out, and then Stokely was like, "I know you remember me under a different name, Matt, but I am Stokely Hathaway." And I figured, with your partner on the other side of the world, I figured it'd be the perfect time to come whoop your ass. He didn't say it like that, but that was more or less what he said. But yeah,
amazing that this man has made it to TV after how long? Well over a year.
Yeah, it's been over a year. And like, he's probably the best talker in NXT.
Man, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's somebody right now that in a time like this, where like, you got to try to figure out where to steal minutes away from matches because there's no crowd reaction. He's perfect for the situation because he's a perfect person for the situation because look at his YouTube stuff. Look at his not YouTube stuff, his Twitter stuff. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
like he made a multiple episodic drama that lasts a few minutes at a time based around who stole his CD player in the year 2019.
Right.
Like, that is a talented dude. Put him on TV, eat up all the innings you can at a time like this.
I believe him and Riddle were linked before and involved. Like, he would manage a bunch of guys to try to beat Riddle. It was almost like some Bobby Heenan and Hogan shit. So,
right. And I believe also during that time, he also was doing some like makeshift dealings with Walter at the time too. Like, they were like, yeah, you're a heel, I'm a heel, let's link up. And like either they actually linked up or Walter left by that point in time before they could finally do it, or like Keith Lee left before they could do it either, because he was another person that was against Keith Lee as well.
Yeah, so that'd be a nice change. Whenever I saw those two guys stand over Matt Riddle, I was like, poor Matt Riddle.
Yeah, especially, I mean, they need to just honestly, I don't know what they need to do, because right now, like, the situation they're in, but like, once they figure out if Charlotte or Rhea comes back with this woman's belt, like, they need to figure out who needs to take it off of them immediately. And then, as far as what happens with Adam Cole, like, hopefully these next set of matches when he runs through, or when Velveteen runs through the Undisputed Era, that will knock a lot of the rust off him, so then like they can, either change the belt or have Cole have a great match and then move on to the next thing. Because like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. After this, let's say Adam Cole retains the belt again. Who should he have a program with next? I have no idea.
That's an NXT. So I think this is the title change, but for me, I wouldn't be putting the belt on Velveteen Dream right now.
That's the dilemma they're in right now.
Yeah. And it almost like, I don't know, it's like Cole has to kind of like run the clock out on this reign.
It should really be Finn Balor, because they had that one match and Finn Balor only lost because Johnny came out in the middle of the ring and distracted him. But it looks like he might fuck around and be the next
they might fucking
NXT UK champion.
They might hot shot your boy Killer Cross up the ladder.
Maybe.
People I don't think would go for that. There was also a ridiculous Dexter Lumis vignette I saw that was on Twitter. That man looked like that man looked like a raper. Yes, not a rapist, a raper. Like,
I mean, I've always thought of him, and it's weird because like they gave him a vignette, and people were, and then like you know how they always do whenever, and especially in NXT, like they just have just a staggering lack of like diversity in like how they debut people. Like everybody is, you know, it's always some mystery type shit. Like they brought back Velveteen Dream as some mysterious figure. It's like, what the fuck? Like, and I don't mean like the mystique of him being Prince. I mean like they had eyes and numbers, and you're supposed to figure out the puzzle of what the fuck that was. It's like, nah, man. Like, just have a video say, hey, man, I'm coming back. Like, whatever. But,
you got to do. I think if you keep it on Cole, you have to break up Undisputed Era, and Roddy has to fight him.
That's what they should. I mean, they teased that around. Like, they teased that immediately after the WrestleMania match last year, WrestleMania weekend show. So like,
or Keith Lee can come off that North American belt.
That's what I was getting to. That's what I was getting to.
Have Keith Lee beat him.
That's what I was getting to. The problem with their main event scene in NXT right now is the fact that like they held off on Keith Lee for so long that they put Keith Lee to the North American title, and then in the meantime when they put Keith Lee to the North American title, they completely like just like nerfed
him down.
They nerfed Riddle on the other end, and then put Riddle towards being a tag guy now. And it's like, all right, those were the two dudes that should have been the next champion after Cole. Now look where we are. Like Keith Lee can't get to that until like November. Right? And then like Riddle's a tag guy. Riddle's probably gonna be tag champion for like 6 months or more. And then if he does that, like you would assume that you're gonna get a feud out of him and Dunn, because that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could have did Walter.
Do I have to start looking at the Largo loop? My God. I mean, you could start bringing up Jake Atlas or fucking.
I think it's too
yeah, like.
But they could have brought up Walter, right? They could have brought up Walter, but because especially after Worlds Collide.
Well, Walter can't get in the country.
But even before then, they were about to do Walter versus Finn Balor at Dublin.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think that was in the cards either. So this is where we are now. Like, you've built up no baby faces. Like, you could.
Oh, you mean Triple H not having a clue like on how to use a baby face or man, what a damn shock.
But this wasn't a problem until they beat Johnny all the time in every title shot he had, and then they turned him heel and then turned him right back face, and then he was champion for 2 months, and then he lost it. And now you can't really go back to him because, like, you beat him all the time. He finally wins it, and then he loses it 2 months later. It makes it like a fucking fluke. So now he's just bad. You're not supposed to just beat a babyface immediately after they fucking win it, which is what they did because of the injury. So it's like, whatever. Like, this is what happens when you keep delaying shit to where he's like, it's gonna mean so much more. It's gonna mean so much more. And now look at it now. So
nah, man, you gotta cash that shit in. Like,
reasonably well.
Don't be afraid of it.
Right. So. Like, that chase shit, I remember him chasing, and now that man can't chase no more. So, like, in the meantime, like, in the back in the day when you had Neville and Sami Zayn and, Nakamura, Finn Balor.
It was easy.
Right.
Just put them up to the belt, and then when it's time for them to move on, they lose, and then they never hear again.
Right. Now, people gotta stay. And the people got to stay, or the people that's like, people need to be the champion, but it's like, they've already been champion. Now what? And like, months ago, we were saying this about, or 7 months ago, we were saying this. Like, I don't know why they wasted so much time, especially like the summer last year, like after June when they were doing the breakthrough tournament. We're like, why are they waste so much time? They need to get Keith Lee and Riddle going. And this is where we are now, because we knew those were the next two dudes, and they didn't make them the next two dudes. And you look around, who are the next two dudes? And you're like, there ain't nobody, right? Because those were the two next dudes, and you missed it.
I think they're gonna put it on Dream, and I think it's gonna be a colossal mistake.
Right? Because I mean, I don't know how much time he needs to get back to where he was, but his storyline, they made it make sense, and after the fact, and like now they're giving them action instead of just going straight to it. They're delaying the match. Like they lucked out. They lucked out in the pandemic because if they were going to go to Takeover, that would have been the match. It wouldn't have been you have to go through the Undisputed Era, like step by step. It would have been. So now it's like they're making it make sense now that they have time to make it make sense. Well, not now they have time. Like this was all they're doing. They had all these plans. They knew they were coming back. All that shit. Like they had a plan to hot shot some shit, and now they're making it make sense now.
So if you're Velveteen Dream, right, or if you're putting the belt on him, like I guess the way I would do the title reign would be he would beat Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano would beat Ciampa. Johnny would then he would be the heel that would be able to challenge Velveteen Dream to be the first person he can beat and be like, all right, Johnny, your mission is to have a 5-star match with him or whatever. But you're going to lose to him and we're going to try to, keep him going from there. Like, I think that's like where you start with him at least.
That makes sense. I would probably try to save the Johnny in, obviously if you're out of options, but I'm looking at the heel side, and it's like we can't face Roddy in the future because he's already faced Roddy a million times. If Velveteen is the babyface champion, is what I mean.
Right.
Can't do Cameron Grimes. No one will buy that. No one believe that he'd be a contender for the North American or for the NXT Championship after he can't even beat Lee.
Hell, have Ciampa do it and have Ciampa win and turn heel. Like, and be like, yep, I'm always the asshole I always was. And then have Riddle or Lee chase down Ciampa.
Yeah, and you could play off of the fact that, like, he had a championship match before, he couldn't beat him, I'm a year stronger, better, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that more than Johnny, because the thing with Johnny and Velveteen is they've had a bunch of matches, a bunch of like matches that were very good. So it's like, as opposed to, Velveteen and Ciampa having that one match at War Games 2018. So like, I think that's cleaner from the perspective of like, there's one match, you can't say like they've done this to death. So I like that more, to be honest with you. So yeah,
man, trying to help these people. I don't even watch this show. Like, goddamn.
And then they're gonna figure out a way to get themselves out of it. But it's just like, from what I see, just based off of like what they've done, is like, they could always just make up some shit and run it through the papers or whatever else. It's just like, but I just thought this wasn't. They put themselves in a bad situation with the Velveteen thing. Is like I would have went with Finn Balor, honestly. Finn Balor versus Cole on TakeOver, and then go from there.
I mean, if they're giving Finn Balor all these damn wins.
I would have made Finn Balor NXT champion and then had like everybody come after him. That's what I would have done, but whatever. And then I would have eventually gone to Velveteen versus Finn Balor, but whatever. That's whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to think, what else do we have to talk about? Oh, Benoit, the end of the second part of that documentary.
Yeah, did you catch it?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched both of them. Like, you talked about it last week, and I watched first part 1 over the week, and part 2 last night. It's emotionally devastating. That's the best way I can explain it. Yep. I was talking to Josh Smith earlier today about like my feelings on it, and the best way I can explain it is I'm a person that like just left out of wrestling in 2000, and I came back 2009, 2010, 2011ish, or whatever else. And like Benoit was one of my favorite wrestlers of the era, because it's like this is a time when I was young, but I also realized like, yo, his matches are like fun, just like a lot of the guys that were in WCW. So to find out that this dude became like a top star in WWE, and then to find out that like he murdered his wife, his son, and then killed himself, it's kind of like, I don't understand how this got to this point. I understand it more getting older. Is like I didn't recognize that like he worked the kind of style he worked. I didn't recognize like the amount of wrestlers that were dying at that time. But I understand it now, and I also understand like what he had to do to his body and put in his body to get himself to look like that, to get himself a push. So for me, because there's so many people that follow this trajectory, it ended up becoming some of my favorite wrestlers, like Daniel Bryan, for example. Some of the guys that are around now, Riddle, Kenny, Jericho, like, these are people that follow the model of, you might not be the right size or the right look for Vince McMahon, or we are past the time of Vince is like completely devouring the national territories. So in order for you to make a name for yourself, you have to hit the road and globetrot. And I'm not saying that Eddie and Benoit were the first people to do that, but they are two people that are the people you point at as far as they laid the blueprint for that, right? Like, not saying that like Kobe or T-Mac were the first two people to, or KG were the first people to come out of straight out of high school, but like they're people you look to. So for them to be influential in that way, and to see that moment where they win at WrestleMania 20, and they had that moment where they're in the ring together, they're both holding their titles up as these two people that persevered over all these odds because they refused to hear a no. And then to watch it from the perspective of that kind of drive also led to this. And I'm watching and I'm just like, just a fucking wreck. Just because, like, the amount of guilt I have for the fact that, like, I had so much. The fact that, like, I felt so much for that moment while in this documentary that's describing, like, this is one of the steps that leads to this, and I know what the back end is coming, what I'm about to hear, and it's like, I feel so guilty and terrible for the fact that, like, I ever felt for this moment. And then from there you hear more stuff that I never knew. I knew they were friends. I didn't know they were best friends. I didn't know they were like that close of friends either. So like that makes it even worse with like the Eddie death. And then like, I think at the end Jericho said something along the lines of like, you look at both of them as them being such great friends, and like one person's career is going to be remembered and held up in like they're basically equals, and then you look at the other one and he's like the fucking black sheep of the entire industry, and it's like these are two people, these basically like two sides of the same coin, and like that's what makes it kind of interesting and scary and everything. And I was like, yeah, like for him to say that at basically like the end of part 2 after going through that whole thing, is like, he's absolutely right.
I think this is the pro wrestling documentary of a lifetime. I was, I watched it in the morning, before I had work, and it was just like, I went through the rest of the day kind of just thinking about like, yo, man, because like you, I wasn't watching at that time, and, I didn't really know all the details around it. And, the more the years have gone on, I've, gone into figuring out like what's happened, but then seeing all these people that are that close to the situation. Part 2 was just heavy in a way. Part 1 even wasn't, even though part 1 was like, yo, grab your fucking like your chair, or you watch it and you're like sinking in your chair, like, right. Oh my God, I can't believe like all this stuff, like this journey this guy's been on, the way they've came together, like, how Nancy got out of her first relationship and how they got together. And it's just like remembering how much she meant to the wrestling business that kind of no one really talks about anymore. And it was just like a lot of mixed, conflicted feelings watching this thing. And it was like, I love the wrestler that Chris Benoit was. I enjoy the style and all that. And then it's like, I hate everything else about like what he did. Like, and, being in, the age we are now, we're like, I don't know, it was like 2007. So I'm like fresh getting out of high school. I can't imagine like, be in the age of where you're having, you have several kids, you have a wife, you have like a house, and then you do that to them. Like, I can't imagine this shit. Like, it's like, it's way too much. I recommend any wrestling fan that ever watched Chris Benoit, and this is like the closure that, people are looking for, kind of, with this thing. I think that's still out there. That's why you still have people for some reason wanting him to go in the WWE Hall of Fame. Nonsense. I'm like, fuck the Hall of Fame. It's fake. It doesn't matter. Why are you trying to champion this? Like, I don't care who Vince McMahon puts. I don't care if he puts Benoit in or not. But you can clearly see why. Like, WWE in this situation, I don't know who knew what when. There are people that say, like, Vince knew or whatever, because like Dave said he knew before they went on air what happened, but there's a lot of
also the part about how apparently, like, he could have pulled the West Coast feed but he didn't, or something like that, right?
Yeah Like, and it's ultimately, WWE was a place he worked. He was all over the world, and they're not the sole people responsible for this. Right.
It's like, real quick, but it's like almost like when NFL gets sued for concussions, they're like, okay, so which concussions are ours?
Right.
Because this person played Pop Warner, Little League, high school, college. Which concussions are ours?
Yeah. I highly recommend it to anyone that hasn't seen it. It's right on YouTube. You can type it in and find it. But it's a very heavy documentary, and I'm just glad that his remaining son, David, and Nancy's sister, Sandra, got to reconnect after 13 years. And this is another thing with Jericho, like, making this thing happen. It's just like, this man is like, people say whatever they want about Jericho. He makes some suspicious moves in public at times, but like, he's one of the most complex like figures and like greatest figures there's ever been in wrestling. He was there pretty much in every promotion anywhere, like Mexico, Japan, Smoky Mountain, ECW, WCW, WWE, AEW, New Japan. Like, this guy is a shepherd of the business, and like, there's been things I've heard about him, like he paid for like Kamala's funeral or paid to save Kamala's house or something like that. Like, he does like so many like good deeds for like a lot of like wrestlers, and he's like a shepherd, kind of like, in a way, you almost like you hear about Vince McMahon sometimes like taking care of people and things like that. But like, Jericho's another guy that's like that, where it's like, man, him being involved in this project, and he's going to be the narrator for all the Dark Side of the Rings this season. It's almost like they couldn't have had a more perfect person like in charge of this and doing it.
Yeah. There's also something that clearly was so close to him, and something that like has clearly been on his mind over the last 13, 14 years, or really 15, 16 years when you include Eddie's death. So yeah, I think, I mean, I hope for some people that, didn't know the full scope of how heinous his acts were. Like, 'cause I had no idea that, like, I had no idea how they died. I just know that he murdered them. I had no idea how gruesome it was, whatever else. And like, that is like what he, like, to hear what he did to his wife is just, he bound her, put his knee in her back, and then strangled her from behind until she couldn't breathe anymore, until she was gone. Like, that is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's fucking ridiculous. And then to hear how he went, where it's like he broke his fucking neck.
Yeah, he did a Google search on like painless ways to like commit suicide. So it's like, you do all that painful shit to someone else, but you want to take the coward's way out. All right.
And then ultimately he ends up actually like killing himself in a gruesome way as well. It's like, that's like, I can imagine. And like, obviously his acts are ridiculous, but it's also like, look at the environment he's in and what helped lead to, or what contributed to this, at the least, right? So, like, with all the steroids, with all the concussions, with what we know about CTE, and then you hear about, like, his brain is, like, and it's just filled up with, like, deposits.
Yeah, 85-year-old brain.
It's like, yo, this all bad. Obviously, the business has changed since this has happened, with good reason, but
it's a reminder that it could always be, it can go back to that in a heartbeat. Like, you know, seeing how like, we don't know what these guys had to do to get from match to match or whatever, and feeling like that pressure, like you know, so. And there's a lot of, like, couple things with the drug testing and all that. Benoit was using, like, he was getting the exemption,
right,
the
because he already was using so much PED, so it's like, you know, shit. Right.
So that's how he was able to pass these tests or whatever. So, like, and that goes on to this day. Like, Ryback was getting TUEs and things like that. And I imagine someone like, Randy Orton, or maybe even a Jinder Mahal or something like that. Like, to see someone blow up that fast, it's like, all right, something's not right here. But, yeah. So, like, and it's just like, it's a stark reminder. And it's like, fuck, I hope no one ever turns out like that again. And you can never be sure. Right. Yeah. But I mean, it's a great piece of work. So, I mean, for those that haven't seen it yet, I would suggest check it out. If someone has ever been, if you're a fan of wrestling history, there's something to check out. Like, I haven't suggested to my homeboys, but like Kirby or Kendrick or any of them, but like, they remember Benoit. And I think they sent they put it up on World Star or something like that, like the preview, and they were sending it to us or whatever. So I think they were trying to watch too. So I'll probably come up and see what they thought. But
I'll talk about it. So I mean, let's just see what else is. So WrestleMania, we talked about NXT, AEW. We talked about real quick. We talked about Roman Reigns pulling out of WrestleMania. We did not talk about his replacement for WrestleMania. That's right. Okay. Braun Strowman is replacing Roman Reigns in the WWE title match at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman finally gets his day in the sun. Oh yeah, he is finally getting a singles match at WrestleMania. Yeah. And you know, they like 3 years past the peak with him. 2.5 years past the peak. Let's see. The most over he was, I would say WrestleMania 34. WrestleMania 34 is when they missed it. Definitely. You don't think it was No Mercy? 2017? I mean, as far as WrestleManias go. Oh, okay. Yeah, in that case. But yeah, and we're way past that window. Of course, he sticks his foot in his mouth. Braun Strowman blocked me, by the way. So yeah, I joined that club. But he finally gets his shot. I don't know who's going to win. Maybe he wins. Who knows? I can't really find myself to care either way, because it's not like, you know, it's like, all right, Strowman's the champion. No, better all yet. Right. We're at a point now in our wrestling fandom, and because WWE main roster has been so bad, we're almost like, instead of being like, yo, this is WrestleMania, it's like, oh, it's just WrestleMania. Yeah. That's where we are now. Like, they've burnt us so many times, they're just like, you're not going to get me to care. Right. Like, you might get me to care about certain things on the card, but like the show in general, as far as it being like the Super Bowl or the NBA finals of wrestling, I'm past that. We know what that is now. No, I'm not even saying like the status of what it really holds as far as like it's compared to a takeover or to a AEW pay-per-view or to a Wrestle Kingdom or Dominion. I'm not even saying that as far as just like the headspace that it used to hold WrestleMania in regard, like the shows that actually like that I cared about back then, they still hold that emotional weight to me. But like going forward and knowing knowing what they do on their TV to get to this point, nah, man, you burnt me on that. Like the last one that really got me in that way was like probably 33, because 33 was built so well.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm sorry, 34. 34 because it was Bill Civil. And then like you completely like you had two good matches. You had 2 good matches on the card, or 3 good matches on the card, and one of those good matches was disappointing. So I was like, "No, I'm done." And it's like 4 or 5 hour show. No, I'm good. No thanks.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch it because I mean there's gonna be some good wrestling on the show, but the thing is like it's gonna be some good wrestling on a 5 hour show. Some
2 of them. Like there's gonna be 2 shows, James. Like there's 2 fucking WrestleMania days.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I don't know who told him to do this or what. It's like, man. Yeah, so Goldberg and Braun Strowman. I know Goldberg can't get him up. Like I know he can't. Like I bet Goldberg was blown. Like, hold on, Roman, what? You're not doing the match?
Spear.
What?
I don't think Goldberg cares.
Yeah.
Look, fuck that. Pay
Where's
me.
the check? Where's the check? So Keepin It Strong Style and ACE, All Things Elite, did this thing. They have this fantasy booking competition going on between AEW and New Japan. So they both put up cards between Jeremy and Josh and Amy and Floyd. Listen to all those shows. Go check those shows out if you want to hear.
Who do you think had the best card of the 4?
I might be leaning towards Josh right now. I would have to look at Josh's undercard again because there are some things I don't remember. I think the Shingo Darby match that he had, I think that might have sealed it because Jeremy and Josh's card for like
the end was so
similar. But I think he used like some guidelines of like what could really happen right now as far as like protecting championships, giving people matches that they could win and things like that. It wasn't just a free for all. I think Amy and Floyd went more in that direction, but. Check out those shows if you want to hear those, cards. But, I believe James made a card just kind of for fun, and so did I. And, I came up with a couple reasons why I did my card. So their rules were you had to have 10 matches on the card and a pre-show match. So, Do you want to go first?
I don't care. Whichever one you want to do, I don't care.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so my pre-show match was Ryu Lee versus Robbie Eagles versus Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. I almost said Sami Zayn. Sammy Guevara in a 4-way match. Go out there and have fun on the pre-show. Look, slap some idiots' heads in the bottom pay-per-view. First match on the card would be El Phantasmo and Ishimori versus Roppongi 3K versus the Young Bucks versus Private Party in a 4-way ladder match for the... Let's say whatever tag titles we come up with. Whatever. We'll find some tag titles.
The AAA belts.
Yeah, sure. You put look, we can put the Rev Pro belts up there. Whatever.
Yeah.
Look, anyway. Next or second match on the card would be Hiromu Takahashi versus Rey Fenix, because why the fuck not? Why would you not want to do that match? Next match after that would be Ishii versus Brody Lee, because that, we're probably going to get in G1. Let's just go ahead and do that now. Next match after that, Jay White versus Cody. You put them on at this spot on the card so that they don't have to try to keep up with what's next coming on the card. Their level of overness will keep them able to keep up with this kind of match, and also they're bringing the diversity as opposed to match of the year contenders that I'm throwing out here on this card. They get to go out here and then have their change of pace match, and they can add to the diversity of the show by them having their old school clusterfuck of Gaga. In this match, if it's great, it's a luxury because we already got a bunch of stuff on the back end. It's gonna be great, and if it takes off and is awesome, then this turns to an all-time card. I mean, it's already set up to be an all-time card, but it just goes over the top. Kobe system. So then from there, give you Naito, double champion versus Adam Page. Then go out there and then have their match. Naito has a bunch of big match experience. Hangman needs some of that before he fully goes on to really do this for real in AEW. He's powering up, and I think he needs a high profile match, but he can go out here and catch a Destino. That's fine. Next match, I'm going to use the approach that Floyd and Josh and Jeremy took, and I'm going to have a women's match. I originally had 2 women's matches. I was going to have both. My idea was to have both Bushi Road top individual titles and both Tony Khan top individual titles be on this card, but I was told that it was going to have to be 11 matches, so I cut the potential Jungle Kiona versus Nyla Rose match out, and I put in, and I left in Mayu Iwatani versus Hikaru Shida. Mayu, through this point in the year, is one of the 10 best wrestlers in the world based on output. Hikaru Shida is a person that can have great matches when you're in the ring with great people and in the right circumstance. Go nuts. After that, you have Tanahashi versus Moxley, because that match would be awesome, so I decided to do it. And it's top 6 versus top 6, in my opinion. This is going to be top 6 versus top 6. Ibushi versus Jericho. They haven't done it yet. They should do it. Do it here. Forget Dominion. let's do it here. Okada versus Pac. I think that match should be incredible, given how Pac paces himself. It matches very well with Okada's ability to lay out a match, to build. I think the last 15 minutes of the match would be spectacular. I have a very, very strict rule, though. The last 2 matches can go 25 minutes. Everything has to go under 20 minutes, and anything below a certain point has to go less than 20 minutes itself. So this match will go 25 minutes. And then the main event, the ultimate exhibition. Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. Go nuts. Let your imagination run wild. But for me, that's the match I would most want to see in the world probably right now. So I take that back. I want to see Mayu versus Jungle, but whatever. But from right now, I want to see. But right now, I want a red belt match between those two very badly. But anyway, right now, the match I most want to see outside of Stardom right now would be Ospreay versus Omega.
Awesome card. I saw your card, and I was determined not to repeat anything because you said it in the group chat first. So mine's a little bit different. I tried to do some things where I could use guys in a way where if I was building a card, I'll put them here. So people that just missed, I was going to use Joey Janela somewhere, but he just ended up getting cut. I forgot where he was.
It's competitive business.
Yeah. So competitive business. So pre-show, I've got Maxwell Jacob Freeman versus Yuji Nagata from WCW. So thinking here is, Are you gonna have Yuji Nagata beat his ass and then at the end have MJF win? Yes.
God damn you.
Yes. Like Yuji Nagata gonna tease his young dude some respect, and then Yuji Nagata is also gonna steal the Burberry scarf and don it at some point, whatever. But he will ultimately fall, so MJF can get these boos, and he beat up an old guy, and then I originally was gonna do like a huge 10-man tag on the pre-show.
I see you booking like Corbin in Angle. I see you out here. You're Miss Manism. I see you.
I think I originally had like a 10-man tag. It was like Show and Yo and a bunch of other people. It was like It was Private Party, Joe Janela, and Dustin against. But it was something like that. But I ended up cutting
I thought about trying to do like a Chaos or LIJ versus Inner Circle or Elite thing. But I was like, once I did that, like it was going to take away so many like top level matches. I was like, I can't do that. I wanted to, but I couldn't. And I was going to do like an elimination match.
So I do actually have an elimination match on my card, and I use that to like get some more people on. So my opener would be Cody versus Minoru Suzuki. Big theme songs here. So everyone, immediately the crowd's gonna be on fire because Cody's gonna come out, with his magic entrance or whatever. He's gonna come up, and then the entrance is gonna be awesome. And then it's like, what can compete with that? Kaizei Nianare. So everyone will be singing along, happy, go lucky, and everything like that. And
so you want like Cody dead? That's what you're doing, huh? Like I remember you were like, you had told me at one point when I said like I want to see an Alexa Bliss and Nia Takahashi match. You were like, James out here trying to get her murdered. So you out here trying to get Cody murdered. That's what you're doing, huh?
Moving on. But no, I'm going to give Cody the victory here over Minoru Suzuki.
God.
Minoru Suzuki will get caught slipping at somehow. One of the interferences, that Cody does. Like, he's gonna have Dustin in one corner, he's gonna have Brandy on another side, he's gonna have all these dudes wearing Nightmare Family jackets to confuse Suzuki, and then he'll win.
How many times did they tease someone throwing in the towel?
Like every corner will have a towel.
Another thing, like I can already in my mind, I'm laughing because I can imagine like hearing not Naito, hearing Suzuki yell, "Come on, boy! Come on, boy!" Like how he did Moxley. I can definitely hear him do that to Cody. So yes, that would be a funny moment.
So I was like, well, I gotta find someone big enough to take on Cody here, and I thought that was a good match. Second match will be Pac in some old country Dragon Gate beef.
Oh, Shingo
Pac versus Shingo. That would be and Shingo would get the win here. He would, they would beat the hell out of each other, and it would be extremely fast paced and Power Junior wrestling here. Up next, I've got the Lucha Bros against El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. RLPW. That's all we're going to do here. And Pentagon's going to get the pin on El Phantasmo. After that, we've got a monster face versus a fucking asshole. So, yes, you heard it right. Darby Allin versus Jay White. Jay White using that size advantage on him. Everyone's going to fucking hate his guts, and the crowd's going to go nuts and love Darby. Think like, Darby fighting Sammy Guevara, but like a little bit different dynamic in the crowd where no one wants to see Jay White beat Darby Allin. So, and since Rich Latta is a good booker, Darby Allin will win. And give the people what they want, We'll give a Darby victory. So
you really hate Jay White.
What's up?
You really hate Jay White.
So after that, we trying to find out who is the big man in these streets. So we've got Tomohiro Ishii versus Lance Archer. So yeah, I would have loved to see it in the G1 last year, but they were in different blocks. So and Ishii, all 5'8" of them, squaring off with Lance Archer's 6'8" or 6'6", whatever the hell he is, looking eye to eye, so to speak. But up next, and I gave Tomohiro Ishii the win there because this is a Rich Latta show, so Tomohiro Ishii is going to win. So. So up next, I've got a battle of the young aces. Will Ospreay will be taking on Hangman Page, and the challenge will be go get it. Like show us why you want it. And what is it? The crown. Like so. That would be that match. Up next, the AEW champion Jon Moxley will be facing Zack Sabre Jr. They were already set to do this match in real life, so we're going to speed that up a couple months and get it going here.
So you just blatantly stealing like Gato's booking, huh?
I mean, why not? The man's won best booker 8 out of the last 10 years, so be a good booker like that. So, but Mox will fuck this geek up, and none of the wrist locks will work. This will essentially be like an entertaining squash match.
So he's gonna beat him like how he beat up like Darby and Sammy.
No, like more like. And then my semi-main event will be the Inner Circle versus LIJ. So
okay,
it will be Jericho.
I see what you're doing. You get Naito protected. Right, and you get Naito. That's the reason why I was trying to figure out if I should put LIJ in there, and too. And I was like, look, man, I don't really know.
Yep.
I know Jericho. If I put Jericho in there with someone that can go, it'll be fine. I don't know about Naito these days. Okay, yeah, all right.
So I've got Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and PNP as the team managed by Jake Hager. So Jake Hager will be on the outside of the ring, cheating exactly, and then obviously, Shingo Takagi wrestled earlier in the night, so this was to get him out of that match, but give them that advantage, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Taking on Hiromu Takahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Sonata, and Evil. Hiromu Takahashi in the end, will survive Jericho and Sammy as they prove they are the most cohesive unit. And then, that was our third from the top. Sorry about that. Our semi-main event here, the Mega Aces, Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus the Young Bucks. So the Bucks come up against a super team here. Okada ends up getting the pin on Matt, and the Okada Bucks fall from the sky.
How long does this match go?
25.
How did the Young Bucks go 25 minutes with like two greatest wrestlers of all time?
Because they're the greatest tag wrestlers of all time. That's why.
So,
but they lose again.
You say so. Like, whatever. Like, in theory, if they say like, yes, we're going to go out there and go 25 minutes, yes, sure. In kayfabe, that match should go like that match should go like 10 minutes tops in real life or kayfabe.
This man tripping.
I'm dead serious.
Our main event here, conspicuous by their absence all over the show. You guys should already know what it is. The Golden Lovers collide. Kenny Omega versus Kota Ibushi. The long match that they've always wanted to do with each other. It's not a G1 match. That isn't, kind of happening out of necessity. This is like the one. So that's the main event here on the card.
So... Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
But that was it. And Kenny would get the win over Ibushi here. A, because it's my card, and B, he's never beaten Ibushi before, so this would be the time to finally have Kenny beat Ibushi here. Okay,
so I believe Josh and Jeremy had venues. Where would your show be taking place at?
Let's see. I would probably do it at. I think I'd do it at the Staples Center.
Okay.
So,
do you have announcers?
No. Just do it straight like there ain't no announce team. Well, okay. I'll call in the golden announcer Don Callis. And Kevin Kelly. We'll just bring those guys out and see if they'll work a night for me. So.
Okay. Me. So
that's my card.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I guess I put my card. Fuck it. Put it in. I don't know. Put it in. Put it at Minareg Hall. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Corkin Hall.
Put it at Minareg Hall. Corkin Hall. I don't know. Put it anywhere. Put it at the Sportatorium. I don't give a shit. Announce team. Asuka, Triple H, and Liger. And Kevin Kelly. So we'll make four-person booth.
Not Cody,
Cody? No.
He could talk about like Kevin Nash having the agility of Kevin Nash or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Who did he say had that? Yeah, he said Brody Lee had the agility of Kevin Nash. I'm like, sir, that is not putting someone over. That is an insult. Yeah. That's pretty much like the one is like, yo, that was bad, Cody. But everything else for Cody was pretty good on commentary. I think I like Kenny's style for commentary more than Cody, because Cody
was like understated, and it would be like, oh shit, he really said that. Like, this man started bringing up fucking Konami.
Oh yeah. I don't even think about that, but it's more or less like Cody once he gets more reps on this will be great at it. But it was just like he didn't know when to lay out and let like other people Shivani like get in and do his part, and like he was kind of just too talkative. And that's one of the things, like, once he, like, gets his, like, in the future, I think right now, starting out, Kenny was better at it, but, like, if they both get reps at this, Kenny will just be, Cody will be, like, one of the best at it. It's just, he has to get his pacing on it.
He's doing this nudging and winking at the hardcore fans all throughout it, and
that's true.
Everything else. So.
That's true.
I guess there's only one thing left to do, James. Let us know how you guys like our cards in comparison to those guys. We're not in the contest, but
bored.
Yeah. I was like, sure, I got a couple minutes to whip up a card here. So, and I think, as compared to, I would probably say when AEW first started, it's not the one-sided, kind of thing this was. Like, oh, obviously New Japan just smokes them or whatever. Like, you look up and down the cards, like a lot of the people that are getting used, like the more you get like guys like Lance Archer and Brody Lee filling in like some of those holes, like it's a great card either way. It seems like so lots of talent everywhere.
There's depth. I think that like the 8th person in New Japan is still better than the 8th person in AEW, but like it's they actually like, but their top 6 is very, very strong. I mean, I'm only talking about that from a match performance standpoint. I don't mean as far as character or whatever else, because like Jericho's better than everybody's on this thing. Just Jericho's can only give you a match at certain level with certain people. That's all. Given his age.
But I guess there's one thing left to do here, James.
What's that?
Hit the music.
Okay, so on Tuesday was the Cinderella tournament, 16-person tournament, single elimination. Winner ends up getting a wish in a Cinderella ball gown. The wish is always a title shot. If it's not a title shot, I don't know what the fuck it would be. World peace. Good luck with that. I don't think Rossi got it like that. I don't think Bushi Road has it like that. But it's 10-minute time limit. You can win via pinfall, submission, or eliminate someone over the top rope. And after watching this tournament, you damn sure can't lose via disqualification. So, do you watch any of the matches, Rich?
Yeah, I caught the whole first round.
Okay. Did you check the final by any chance?
I did not see the final, but I'm interested. Like, I know what happened, and I'm interested to see. And we talked about it off air, but I think you would have an interesting, kind of analysis on this for those that haven't.
You have to remind me because I probably forgot. But
all right, the booking style, had this been like in America or something.
Okay, so Julia won. Julia ended up going through Jungle, Momo, instead of Konami, like I kind of thought. She went through her own stablemate in Shuri.
Damn.
And then in the final, she ended up taking on Natsuko Tora, just a shock finalist for this tournament.
So we did get a shock finalist from that side. Not who we thought, like maybe like a Saya or something, but Natsuko.
Yes. They had to blow up half of the bracket to do so.
Blew it up. Oh my god!
Yes, and also made like Tam the kind of like the Sami Zayn / Chad Gable or Shorty Gable babyface of Stardom. But yes, they did so. So I don't know where to start. Do you want to go through the first round of matches?
Yeah, I'd probably say the first round for sure.
Okay, so what copy did you see? Did you see the copy that was just like all the matches put together, or do you watch individual matches?
I saw the YouTube version. Okay, it was just all straight through.
Okay, so yeah, I watched that version first because obviously that came out first. I watched the whole edition from that camera angle and that single shot, and then I watched the Stardom World cut of it. And I gotta say, the YouTube version is a better cut of it. Yeah, man. First match, Momo for Starlight Kid. I thought it was a great opener. I thought that the match, the part where Starlight Kid goes for a code red, and then like Momo basically traps her and then drops with a B driver. I thought that was incredible. Mm-hmm. I thought it was. I can't wait until one of these years when like Momo goes for a B driver and she turns it into a code red, give a turn of favor. But yeah, I thought those two had a great opener.
Yeah, really quick work here. Not surprised to see Momo get the win, unless they were gonna just start shocking people. Right. Trying to think what else. Like, I watched a shit ton of stuff last week, so yeah, I think I do remember that one part that Sunset Flip turned into that bomb. But yeah, next match.
Yeah, Julia versus Jungle. Jungle takes like 75% of the match, beats her ass. That's when the match is actually compelling. Julia then learns a couple things to survive. Mostly works over Jungle's taped up shoulder. Slaps on this like Koji clutch looking thing that works over the shoulder, and then at the end ends up putting her in her stealth viper finish submission move or whatever else. Jungle passes out instead of tapping out.
They got to the. I was gonna say they got to the disrespect off rip, like in the second match, sending Jungle out there to do this job for Julia.
So I watched the Stardom World cut of it, and in the Stardom World cut they had the promos, the pre-match promos. They only do first round promos, and Jungle came out and said like, "This is my 5th Cinderella tournament. I suck at Cinderella tournaments because like the pace, I'm used to going lower than the 10-minute time limit. So we'll see what happens." And sure enough, she went out there and got her ass like choked out. So there you go. Next match after that, you end up getting Azumi versus Konami. Konami comes out last. She's up on the second rope to posing. Azumi hits or attacks her at the bell. She rolls out the bottom rope. Azumi gets out onto the top rope, the floor dive, gets her back in the ring, and then Konami basically keeps trying for arm bars. Azumi keeps finding creative ways to put her in cradles and roll-ups, and at the end, Konami ends up killing her with a couple kicks and then slaps on the triangle lance for the win. I thought this was like a 3-minute match. I thought it was one of the best 3-minute matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, when she rolled up behind her, I thought it was going to be a shock of elimination. Like they were just going to ring the bell and she would throw her out like while she was posing or whatever.
Right.
That kind of caught me off guard. But yeah, lots of crisp technical work in this match.
Yeah. The only regret about it is it didn't go like twice as long. But next match after that is Shuri versus Jamie. I love this match. I think I wrote out a list of stuff that they did in the match, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Basically, what I'm going to say to you is we have someone that is a powerhouse and is actually the biggest power wrestler in all of Stardom in Jamie. She's earned that through beating Utami. She's earned that through beating Jungle up multiple times. She's a top power wrestler in Stardom. And then you have Shuri, who has came in, and she is a submission specialist and a striker, given her background as MMA, legit MMA fighter. So, they basically start off with Shuri throwing strikes, trying to work over Jamie's right arm, and then Jamie fires back with lariats and the like, and then from there, Shuri keeps getting her in arm bars, gets her in a cross arm bar the first time. Jamie makes the ropes, gets back up. Jamie fights back with lariats and then at another point, Shuri ends up hitting a second arm bar. This time she gets a arm bar and transition over to a Fujiwara arm bar. Jamie rolls out of it, lays her out, and then hits the ropes, comes back and hits her with a gigantic bicycle knee that looked great. And then she hits her with like a backbreaker over the knee, and then lifts her up and hits like basically looks like she rock bottomed herself, but it was an offensive move, like almost like the R-Truth deal. And then at the end, after working over her arm twice, Shuri ends up getting some kicks in, a head kick, and then ends up slapping on a straight arm bar. Transitions to the Fujiwara armbar, and then turns over on the Fujiwara armbar and slaps on like a double armbar move that looked fucking gross. And Jamie had to tap. It was great. Like this person, submission specialist, kept progressing, like transitioning an armbar on some like saber shit, except it wasn't like spot porn or submission porn. It was awesome. Thoughts on that match?
Big win for Shuri. I was kind of shocked because, I thought they would, Shuri's a freelancer. I didn't know how their strategy was going into it here. But, good win for her.
And also, given that Jamie, she was finished second in the block at the Grand Prix, she was in the finals of the Tag League. That was a big win for Shuri. That definitely established it. All that freelance talk. We'll see how that goes in the future. We'll see. But
can my dog Kenny get on the phone? Can she freelance? Herself to Jacksonville.
Once the flights start clearing up.
Yeah.
Okay, so next match after that is Tam versus Saki, and it is.
I was disappointed.
Yeah,
Saki did not hit the not wrong person. Never mind.
Okay. Tam and Saki, they have a 4-minute match. Only the last 2 minutes were good. It didn't get good until Tam slaps Saki, and then they start slapping each other back and forth. Tam ends up hitting her with a bicycle knee as well. And there were a couple. Saki ended up getting 2 good near falls with her revival flash pin that she does. It's successful. Tam kicked out of both of them, and then at the end, Tam ends up hitting a head kick and then landing the Tiger Suplex for the win. I thought this match was going to be better, but we got half a good match.
That 10-minute time limit is really doing the number. It's a good format to watch, all is one show, but you're not going to get the high highs.
Right.
The,
I'm just looking for consistency and some diversity in the matches. I'm just trying to feel this match. I remember in the first round did that. In the second rounds, every round after this, it did less than that. Once you get to the second round, everybody does a spot where everybody's on the apron, and they're oh, who's gonna fall off the apron? Yeah, and then it followed that path for the whole time. But for the first round, they did a really good job. Next match after that, Saya Kamatani versus Natsuko. Natsuko beats her up and
didn't do the dance.
Nah, she did not do the dance. If you want to go on Twitter, if you go to Stardom's Twitter, she was doing a dance while they're off right now. So if you want to see her dancing,
I saw that.
All right, so and they also had jungle dancing up there too.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So anyway, Natsuko just bullies her around, beats her ass for 5-6 minutes. Felt like forever. Saya maybe got a couple pieces off his end, but she just beat her ass left and right, and then ends up beating her with hits a frog splash, doesn't get the 3 count, hits her with the guillotine leg drop off the top rope, gets the pinfall. Next match after that, Utami versus Micah. This has escalated to a full blown top robbery in Stardom, in my opinion. This went from 2, future/young girls that are very good, and they both have similar backgrounds, and they have a lot of similarities in what they do and their strengths. And they got together, and they basically and they keep having mirror match type matches, even in tags and trios, and it's always good. And they displayed it again here, where Micah gets one of Utami's arms, her left arm, and works over her arm with key locks, kimuras, arm bars, and judo throws Utami around. Utami's selling her ass off, and it's just incredible. And Utami keeps mounting defenses and almost like veteran escapes at times. There's a moment where she's about to get put another hold on her arm, and she basically judo throws her over and slaps on a sleeper hold at the last second. Micah fights out of that, and the bell ends up ringing for a time limit draw. But in between that, it was just 2 people throwing each other around, working holds, and giving people their turn to be on top at certain times. But Micah mostly dominated, or had most control most of the match, just by working her over, and Utami's selling was incredible.
Yeah. Are you shocked by the winner here?
Well, the fact that it went to a draw, yeah. I would have liked to have Micah won, but that still gives Micah something down the line to chase after with Utami. And
I think
Utami was hot that she didn't win either, because Utami in the pre-match promo said that, like, you know, I wasn't in Cinderella last year. That was my first Cinderella, but I broke my hand in that match in New York against Momo. So I want to win this. And she's like, I want to show you all the red dress.
I think this is just a function of the bracket itself. They had to pick something to be part of the blow up.
Well, another part of it is like, we ain't finna have Natsuko beat Utami. Get the fuck out of here. So there's that as well. The main event of the first round, Hannah versus Mayu. Mayu did what I think was a masterful job of accentuating what Hannah does well, which is brawling, in a couple holds she does. And Hannah, it shows off some of the strength that Hannah can showcase, like when she does the spot with the tease vertical suplex, puts someone in a guillotine, and then she powers the person up and then gives the finishes off the vertical suplex. I think she wrapped that around all the stuff that Hannah does with a few things that you don't really see from Mayu that often. And I thought they had a great match. I thought it was the best match in the first round. The finish was fucking horrific. I don't want them ever to do a finish ever again. But aside from that, I thought, you know, 8 minute match. I thought, you know, for 8 minutes, this is like a 4-star fucking match.
So that finish caught me off guard. I was like, watching him on the top rope, and I already knew, you know, what was happening. I knew there was going to be a double elimination, but I was like, oh shit, why did they fall from there?
Okay, so for describe to the listeners, Mayu gets the advantage. She goes for to put the match away. She goes for a frog splash. Frog splashes get the 3 count. She goes to the other corner to go for a moonsault. So she goes up for a moonsault. Hannah gets up and then puts her in her octopus hold that she does for a finish she calls the hydrangea. But it's on the top rope, so she's in the rope, so she can't get the submission. She just wants to hurt her and then drag her in the ring and beat her ass, or throw her over the top after that. Who knows? But while she has her in the hold, on the top rope, on the top turnbuckle, Mayu slips off the ropes on purpose, obviously, slips off the ropes and falls forward. And the problem is that, like, Hannah didn't let go fast enough or get a grip on what they were trying to do or whatever else. And, like, they basically go falling. And if you slow it down, you see a position where, like, luckily this didn't happen, but, like, watching it not live, but watching it, you're just like, oh my god, did Mayu just land on her head from the top, falling off the top rope? And then you see the Stardom world cut of it, and you see, if you pause it in midair when they're falling, it looks almost as if, like, Hannah has Mayu in a package pile driver as they head to the floor. So Mayu, you know, Mayu's neck is a slinky, so whatever. But like any other mere mortal, they'd been fucking hurt.
You know, we always be joking about last bump. Like
that was the last bump situation. Yes, that was horrific. Like that was as scary or scarier than the botched top rope Hurricane Rana with B in November. So, so in Stardom, if there's a draw in the tournament, then the person that you're going to face in the second round just advances. So what's happening is it creates a funky situation where there's only 3 semifinal matches, and the semifinal match of Tam versus Natsuko is a de facto semifinal as opposed to a second round match. So going through the first round or going through the second round, it's Momo versus Julia. They have a good match. At the end, they end up outside the ring on the apron, and Julia ends up giving her tombstone power driver, and Momo just falls off, and Julia advances. Next round, you end up getting Shuri versus Konami. They have the match you expect them to have. It's basically a mirror match of two ass kickers that just that can grapple and chain wrestle and fight for submissions and arm bars and kick the shit out of each other. And they just basically do that for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then at the end, Konami goes for actually slaps on her Triangle Lancer.
Yep.
And Shuri fights to the ropes after being dead in the middle and dead to rights, fights to the ropes. And Konami, after she makes the ropes, is beside herself. She can't believe that someone actually survived the Triangle Lancer. She gets her up again, and then Shuri ends up slapping on. I can't remember what she did. She hit her with some finisher. I think it might have been an arm bar. No, I'm sorry. Scorpion Deathlock. Puts her in Scorpion Deathlock and gets submission. So she ended up making the top grappler, the submission specialist in Stardom, tap out. Sounds like a push. Right. So third match, Tam versus Natsuko. I don't think I've ever just told you this, Rich, but Natsuko, when I say that she's good when she wants to be, she is good when she's in the ring with Tam. She's good when she's in the ring with Mayu. She's good when she's in the ring with Jungle. Those are the people I know.
She plays when she want to play.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know I think because Tam came in and got better at the same time that Natsuko was getting better. Mm-hmm. They were kind of quote unquote young girls or young to the game at the same time. So they had a prelim feud where they just would get in tag matches and they'd be paired together and they would just beat the shit out of each other with forearms or whatever else. So it's always that's always carried over for the last couple years. So they get in the ring together, they immediately go face to face, nose to nose, forehead to forehead, and then they start trading forearms with each other. We end up getting a situation where Tam ends up getting on the second rope or sitting on the top rope. Natsuko comes in. She ends up getting her up in a choke while in the ropes. Saki, who's cornering Natsuko, distracts the ref. Then, literally in front of the ref's face, gets on the apron and then hits Tam. And the ref doesn't DQ, no nothing, whatever. They continue wrestling. So Natsuko gets Tam over the top rope. She's on the apron. Natsuko charges through the middle rope. Tam hits her with an axe kick, brings her into the middle rope, and then hits her with a tiger suplex, and she falls over. Tam forgets that it's over the top rope, so she's just chilling. Natsuko crawls to the other side of the ring, around the ring, gets in, and then comes back on the other side and just shoves Tam off into the floor. Tam, at my second time watching, I timed it. Tam was on the apron after going to the top rope for 50 fucking seconds, like a dumbass.
Wow.
And lost like that. I was fucking furious. Anyway, whatever. So, next round, Shuri versus Julia. I'm blanking on what happened in this match, but at the end, I don't know if it was I can't remember, but I remember it being a good match. Julia won. Mm-hmm. So Julia's the last out, so she has to just wait for Natsuko to come out for the final. So she's in the corner waiting for Natsuko to come out her side, and then all of a sudden, Natsuko comes from the side that Julia actually came from, and attacks from behind, starts the match. So at a certain point, Natsuko gets the belt, or gets a chain. She's been carrying a chain around for the last few months, ever since she became the leader of Oedo Tai. I guess that's her version of the stick that Kagetsu used to have. I don't know. But comes out and uses the chain in front of the ref. She gets the chain. Saki brings the chain into the ring. She lays the chain down, bunches the chain together, and then body slams her right onto the chain. Not a DQ. The chain gets out the ring. Julia's fighting back. And keep in mind, after she beats Shuri, the crowd starts chanting for Julia. Right? You hear Julia chants it in intervals, frequent intervals. She gets jumped from behind. Uses the chain. Julia fights back. Then there's another moment where Saki Julia gets the advantage, is about to turn the tables. Saki throws the chain back in the middle of the ring, in front of the ref, in front of both of them. Julia grabs the chain, wraps around her fist, looks like she's about to punch Natsuko with it, takes it off, throws it at her, and then Natsuko picks it up, and that's like she's going to strike it, and then basically throws out the ring saying, like, I don't need this, even though I've already used it. Whatever. So they continue fighting. They both hit each other with finishes. There's both kickouts. Then there's another chance for Natsuko to use the chain. She takes it. Julia overcomes that. Julia hits a finish. Natsuko kicks. Then Julia slaps on her Stealth Viper submission that she's put away multiple people with that whole night. After some struggle, she taps out. Julia wins the Cinderella tournament. At the worst point, after one of the kickouts, the crowd literally start chanting, Julia, Julia, Julia. So, like, it got her over. And at the end, after she comes back out with the dress, she says, I kind of wanted to see what Natsuko's dress looked like. And the crowd starts laughing.
Damn.
And then from there, she says, I want to challenge Arisa at the Oda City show. So that's one of the big matches for the big show if we ever get it.
Stay away. Stay away.
So yeah, that's the tournament. So what were you saying? Something about so thoughts in general now, I guess.
Interesting, way that they booked this thing, because this is clearly like a one-sided tournament, and they did it for a lot of reasons. Like, I think you're trying to protect matches, protect people from losing,
right,
and also leave stuff for down the road. So that's why they sacrificed like that quarter of the tournament essentially.
And also, given that like last year they had a draw like this too in the first round, and then like immediately like just moved Arisa to the semifinal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it might just be a thing where like this is how we time save. We only have the venue we only have Korakuen Hall for 2 or 3 hours. That might be a thing where like I'm gonna have to go through and look and be like, they blow through matches or do draws, whatever, to get out of matches like every single year. But I know at least the last 2 years they've done this.
Yeah. Interesting choice for them to go Natsuko in the final, but she was simply there to serve Julia. It sounds like it wasn't this Natsuko thing. If anybody's like, hey, she went to the finals, what does this mean for her? Nothing.
Not a damn thing. Look, the best part is her pre-match promo, right? She says, I don't even care about Cinderella. And I'm like, you're right. She shouldn't care about Cinderella. She's still owed a white belt match. Why is she even in this fucking thing?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yeah, if you want to look from that perspective, it's like once Arisa gets healthy, and then, there's going to be a Korakuen Hall before this Oda Award show. So, like, she's probably going to go out there and be V11 for Arisa. So there you go.
Yeah, come get this Brazilian kick.
Yeah.
But Julia getting over in the finals.
Yeah.
What do you make of this? Because, a lot of people are upset with Julia.
Okay, so last week I said to you, like, I feel like the Western fans are indifferent, and the native fans, they're kind of just sitting on their hands because they still know that this is a person that is that doesn't belong to them as far as Stardom goes or whatever else. Mm-hmm. But I've had a rude awakening after hearing about the win and watching the tournament, and seeing like Stardom's announcements on the Japanese Twitter account and the replies to it compared to the Western version. Mm-hmm. I was clearly flat out wrong on it. The Western fans are Joshi gatekeeping and do not want their precious Momos or Tams or Kionas or Konamis or whoever else that's in the mid card that's been around the company for multiple years to be quote unquote moved to the side for Julia. And on the native side, they're happy for Julia / they don't care. It's just another woman that's getting a push just like any other woman, and they're fine with it. So that's something that I've learned, or at least like this is where we are now compared to previous weeks, because previous weeks I was listening to those fans and watching those streamers or months or whatever else, and like Julia was just like, she had they weren't mean to her, but like it was almost like she was just kind of there. And I mean, someone made a great point about like Stardom with their pushes, like, you know, they don't really do 50-50 like that. And like when they push somebody to the moon. And then and the thing is with them is like every person they ever push has gotten over. Like, if you were to ask me who's more over leaving out of Cinderella tournament between Julia this year or Arisa last year, Julia's more over. If you ask me, and then you look at like people like Utami debuted at like August. And, you know, she debuted in August, and then, like, she was in the the Grand Prix final just a few weeks later, right, against Mayu. I believe, you know, like, so they've done this in recent memory where, like, they'll push somebody to the moon over a short period of time, and that person gets over, so, like, who gives a shit? With me, like, knowing what I remember about Arisa and remember her matches, like, you look through, if you compare the runs through both Cinderella tournaments, Julia washes Arisa's run through this, or through Cinderella's that they both won. So I have no issue. And I didn't have an issue before then, but, like, I was just worried about, like, how the natives were going to respond to this. And they're fine with it, so I'm good with it. Now, you're going to hear a lot of bitching about people talking about how green she is, this and the third is like, hey, man, like, you would have the same complaint a year ago at this time with Arisa. She can't do shit but kick. You can make an argument she still don't do shit but kick, but this is where we are now.
Don't need to.
Right. And like the thing with me is I think the thing is people haven't really seen her stuff in Ice Ribbon. I've managed to see a couple of her matches in Ice Ribbon. And like she's a person that's better with more time. Like she's a person that can build a match up over 15-20 minutes and get it to a part where the crowd is crazy. So I'm not concerned as far as like if she's in this spot in a white belt match or if she becomes a white belt champion, she has to be in that match for 18 minutes. I've seen her do it before, so I have no concerns. But people that haven't, I can understand why they feel that way. But
Gosh.
Those people that feel that way, I would like to remind them that like you should have you could have said the same exact thing about Arisa last year. And look how that turned out. So that's my take on it.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. And I know Julia and Arisa are on a collision course, and we'll see it. We'll see when it happens. Yeah.
I found out it was at Oda Ward today. I thought it was probably gonna be the next Korakuen, but you know, that's what we're gonna do. I figured they would have done, you know, white belt match, red belt match, Julia versus Hannah, finally for the final decision, and those are your three big matches. Right now, I have no idea what they're gonna do with Hannah, and like Hannah seems like somebody you need to put in one of these big matches to help sell the tickets. Like maybe like they did the draw with Mayu. Maybe they're doing Mayu versus Hannah. I don't know, but like it'll be two big matches, but I feel like you need like 3 or 4 big matches to, you know, help move this card, but we'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't really got anything else.
Yeah, so that's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this, to tell the folks about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Be sure to check out our friends at powerslam.tv, the sponsor for the show. If you're a fan of independent pro wrestling, you have over 5,000 hours of wrestling from all over the world. Be sure to
what? Like,
yeah, right. Like, oh, hold on, bro, you got her false advertising. Yeah, just put in Social Suplex, get your 3 months trial. Also check out go to prowrestlingtees.com/socialsuplex and pick up some SSPN merchandise. Also be sure to check out the other shows on the network. This show typically Mondays, Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Keepin It Strong Style, Wednesdays, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Podcast, every other Wednesday, Groman Watches Shit, Fridays, Get in the Ring, and Saturday, All Things Elite. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Later.